What's good, everybody? Welcome into another episode of, well, I don't even know if I should say that. Maybe the first episode on the Fans First Sports Network.
Oh yeah.
We're moving around a little bit, but if you still found this, because I'm gonna tweet it out and Don's gonna tweet it out, and hopefully, the loyal listeners find a way to us over here. But
Right.
we are a part of a new endeavor, which is going to be um, weekly, daily podcast um, based on conferences. So I think that this is going to be good for us because, as much as I love our loyal listeners, it's hard to get people to follow a Big Ten podcast
Right.
when it's on an Ohio State site. And despite how much I talk and try to be as objective as possible, when it's on the Big Ten site, when the website says, when it's on Ohio State site, every other article, every other podcast in the feeds in Ohio State podcast, all of that other kind of stuff, I just imagine people are like, like this is just an Ohio State podcast. Like they say it's a Big Ten podcast, but it's just an Ohio State podcast. So I think this would be good for us, although we may have to build some listeners from the beginning. I do not know. I don't remember the schedule for all of the other podcasts. Let me see if I can find that, because if you found this, maybe you will enjoy all of them. Right. Ours is the only podcast that is not new. So we've been doing this for a while. All the other podcasts are people who have podcasted in various other entities for Fans First, but they're creating new
shows for this.
Right. So we have us on Mondays doing the Big Ten. Tuesday will be the ACC. Wednesday will be the Big 12. It doesn't seem like they have an SEC only podcast, but I will be doing another podcast that I brainchilded, and Dante will either be a part of it as a third co-host or as a regular guest. One of the two. You'll still hear him if you want to do that. I mean, if you don't, well, I mean, I understand. Just stop.
Crazy.
A second podcast called Power 2, which is exactly as it is. It's a Big Ten and SEC podcast, but it's really a national football podcast. The joke is that, no one cares about the rest of college football because of the Power 2. I still care, but that's when you talk about national college football, you're going to lean more into the Big Ten and SEC just naturally. You'll talk about the other things, but I mean,
they've been the most dominant. Those are the two most dominant conferences in college football. Yes, all the other conferences exist, and and it does have good football, but most people are probably going to lean towards Big Ten and SEC.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's going to be cool. And then on Friday, for you absolute degenerates who want to bet your house and car, there will be a gambling podcast. So we're doing a whole new thing here. Hopefully it works. As I always forget to do, but especially because it's a new feed. Follow, like, subscribe. Spotify, after like 15 years, finally allows you to rate and review podcasts, which you couldn't do forever. Like, how the hell couldn't you figure that out, Spotify? So whether you listen on Spotify or Apple, go to both. Give us some 5-star ratings.
Go to both. It's comment.
Yeah, go to both.
But I'll take it. Yeah, but I'll take it. I'm not mad. No, you're right. Go to both.
Go to both. And yeah, just I mean, the show's going to be the same. It's just in a new place.
Just in a new place.
It's going to be better because we always promise to get better, but it's going to be the same show. It's just in a new place. So follow along with us, and hopefully we get more people in general, because it is a Big Ten podcast, and we do take pride in talking about all 18 Big Ten teams. And all 18. And it's just hard to get that on an Ohio State.
The Big 20, bro. Like, stop calling it the Big
10. No, bro, it's the Big 10. It's a branding thing. It's a branding thing. You don't change the brand.
I know, but man, it ain't been 10 teams for a minute, but
like 70 years. So really quickly, because it is a new because it is a new feed and maybe new listeners. Dante, why don't we tell them what the show is?
Okay, we can do that. We should do that
really quickly.
We should do that. Look at this man. I'm sorry. This man doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, no,
messing with my eyes.
Without being too personal, anyone that has a beard, you understand that sometimes, despite your wants, if you want, hey, my man Jalen Hurts got the same thing. I'm just doing the Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm resting in. His is shorter than mine, but you know it's fine. I'm on my grown man. Yeah, you know.
Nah, it's cool.
I'm on my Morris Chestnut. You feel me? My
because next week you gonna, or the next episode, the next time we record, you gonna be like, oh, I'm like, yep, just mustache, just mustache.
See, I will never go just mustache. Ever.
I don't have a thick mustache, so it'll never look weird.
That's fair.
Yeah, or at least if it does, then I'll just get rid of that. I don't even care. So, guys, I'm sorry if you're a returning listener and or watcher, and you see that people's face skin is gonna be showing. Sorry. If you're new, hey,
sorry. Well, mine will not be like this for long. This is a self-care journey. I almost cried doing it. I haven't cut my beard off in 6 years, but that's exactly why I needed to cut it off. Anyone that has a beard knows that, like, I don't fully believe in the, like, you have to cut it off so it grows longer. I think like I'm never going to get a Rick Ross, but it does come in much fuller and it comes in healthier. It gives you time to, like, take care of the skin. Dante reminded me about face masks. And this is weird to say because I do face masks, but I've never done a face mask in a long time without a full beard.
Yep.
So I'm about to do a little face mask action. Just get the skin healthy, and then the beard will be back and better than ever. But for now,
I'm telling you, bro, I'm shaving right after this episode. I'm telling you, I'm getting rid of it. I got a few of them, and I'm like, yeah, it's gotta go. But
yeah. So what is the show? The show is a Big Ten podcast from sickos. I mean, we love college football.
We are sickos. We are pretty much sickos.
And basically, basically the show is just two friends. We've known each other since college. Can't read, can't write, Kent State.
Go Flashes.
It's the idea of the show is the conversation that you already have with your friend, just recorded. Like, we are very loose here. We do plan things out. And we stick to the script, although we don't always stick to the time. But most of it is just a conversation that you would have with your friends. We yell, we argue, we disagree, we agree on a lot. But the basis of the show, aside from just like two friends talking, is we do a review and a preview every week, basically. We talk about a couple of games we're excited about. We review the best games, and then we just throw some stuff in there, talk a little AP poll. If you're new to the show, I have a thing for firing coaches because I just think, especially in this new Power 2 era, you shouldn't be bad. Like, you shouldn't have awful coaches. You have all of this money. It's not that I don't think these people are human and that firing doesn't suck, but also they're going to get like $10 to $15 million when they get fired. So I don't care. Be better at your job. Like, I can't be bad at my job and I don't make $1 million. You make $6 million a year. Be better.
Yeah. Some of these, I agree with him on some of these coaches need to go. And we're going to talk about, we're going to bring it up a lot. We bring it up a lot because I end up saying
I'm just worse than you.
yeah. You're going to do it the most, but we are going to bring it up a lot. And
for sure.
It's going to be the same names most of the time. Because they need to go. They've been here too long.
What am I, 3 for 3?
We've all
Scott Frost. Said Pat Fitzgerald, though that was totally different. That's
that was way different. But
who else got fired? Was that it? So he wasn't high on my list, but I did talk about Wisconsin. Yep. Yeah. He just wasn't high on my list. Yeah. And for those of you who are new, who's high on my list? Kirk Ferentz. And that's a more nuanced take. We won't get into that today. Because people are going to be like, but he wins 8-9 games a year. He's also a raging racist. And Tom Allen.
It's really not. He's not improving. Yeah. Just because he wins 8 and 9 games, I feel like those teams could win 10
with the better coach.
Yeah. So,
and now it's about to get harder, and you have your geriatric racist old man coach in there to just now start winning 6 games.
Yeah, and he just doesn't want to get better.
Yeah, although I am very excited to see like USC, like the pretty boys go into. Oh my god, I hope. So I know they dropped the games, but they haven't dropped when. Man, Iowa, Wisconsin's a little bit more finesse now with Luke Fickell, but Iowa, Wisconsin, even Northwestern, who's still.
I was going to say even.
Like I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Illinois, if they got to go against.
Oh my god, to go to
Michigan State still is going to be fun. Well, even though one of them.
No, I can't wait. Have you ever been to Penn State?
No.
Penn State is one of the hardest places to get to. It's awful. Literally, if you fly into Penn State, I think you have to fly into Pittsburgh. But even if it's not Pittsburgh, wherever you fly into, it's an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from State College. Like you can't get to State College. It's awful.
Why?
I cannot wait. It's literally just a college in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the mountains. I cannot wait for USC or Oregon or Washington to fly in the middle of November, land somewhere in Pennsylvania with snow on the ground, drive 2 hours in the middle of nowhere in State College, and have to play in Happy Valley.
Washington's going to be fine.
8 p.m.
I'm trying to tell you, Washington's going to be fine. Washington plays in the cold. It's up north.
No.
It's up north.
It is not the same. It's not the same. I'm telling you.
It is.
But especially USC. Washington may fare a little bit better, but especially USC. Oh my God. Can't wait. Anyway, what are we talking about today? We are doing our last 2023 season preview for, again, the people in the new feed. I will be uploading and backdating all of the old episodes, so you will get to listen to all of them.
Because I still have to do the same on my YouTube regardless. So we're all. That's nice. That'll remind me to do that since I have to do that now. Even more.
Absolutely. So we'll be doing that. So you'll get to listen to those. But this is our last 2 tiers. We have this one Friday. We have the next one on Monday. 2 teams. We're talking Penn State and USC today. We're talking Ohio State and Michigan tomorrow. If you haven't already picked up on this, we are talking about the 4 Pac-12 teams a year early to integrate them into the conference, because I feel like it's going to be hard to talk about them next year if we haven't talked about them this year and actually watched the games and paid attention kind of to what was going on. So that's what we're doing. Let's get into the news really quickly. There's not a lot of news, just 2 really quick things that really, they're ultimately going to affect football, but they don't really affect football fans. But since they're going to affect football because the decision makers are changing, we will just mention it. So I do apologize, Washington. You are not the big boys yet.
Damn.
You're not the big boys because your athletic director that's been at your college for about 20 years left for USC. So she felt like USC was still an upgrade, which it is.
In name, yes.
In name and stature and finances, commitment to football, that kind of stuff. Well, this is no shade to Washington. I expect Washington to beat USC this year, but as an institution, USC still got the one up. So, Washington,
and again, it's California,
right? Yeah, it's Southern California at that, like the beach, literally on the beach. Yeah, and she's about to be making like $1 million a year. So, so
I'd do it too.
Absolutely, like no shame. Washington AD Jen Cohen is now USC's AD. Jen, Washington still be happy. She helped usher you into the Big Ten. Now you just got to hire somebody else. Speaking of hiring and speaking on more Big Ten on Big Ten crime, Ohio State has hired Nebraska's system president. And it took me a minute to realize this because I forgot that Nebraska had a system. So they hired the system president, Walter Ted Carter Jr. And if anyone listening wants to tell me how you get Ted out of Walter, I'm all ears. But Ted Walter Jr., who was the system president, and if, for those of you in states like Ohio who don't have a system essentially means that some state schools are all by the same people. So like it's University of Nebraska Lincoln, University of Nebraska Omaha, University of Nebraska, whatever.
Okay.
California has two systems. Technically, UCLA is a part of that. Is a part of the public school system, so it's technically University of California, Los Angeles, and then Cal, which we just call Cal, is University of California, Berkeley. They're in the same system, which is why Cal Berkeley in that system was trying to get UCLA to not go to the Big Ten.
Right.
North Carolina has this system. New York has like three. They have SUNY and CUNY. State University of New York system and City University of New York, something like that. So Ohio's not like that, but basically some state schools are in a system and they have what they call chancellors who run the school, but there's a system president who makes decisions for everyone. And I know this. Yeah, I know this because I work at colleges. I work in higher
education. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So they didn't take the president or technically chancellor from the University of Nebraska Lincoln, where the football program is. Right. They took the guy who was that guy's boss to be the president. But also that speaks on how big Ohio State is because you were the president of 4 universities and you left to go be the president of 1. Yeah. But in University of Nebraska, from the article I read, all 4 of those universities total to like 70,000 students, and Ohio State has like almost 70,000 students just on the Columbus campus. Like, and you know,
only 4 schools total of the 70,000.
Yep, because Lincoln is the big one, and then there's Omaha, and I couldn't even tell you what the other 2 are, to be honest with you, but they're smaller. They have to be smaller than Penn State though, because Penn State still has 30.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to necessarily. They're probably like some of the private schools in Columbus.
Got to be real small. Private, it's probably almost like community college. Small.
Yeah. Well, I mean, community college. The one that I work for has like 30,000, 40,000 students.
Actually, maybe not. Yeah, I don't.
It's like private school small. Like it's like Otterbein. Otterbein probably has like 12,000 students, like that. But they're public, I believe.
Yeah, or maybe Tiffin.
That's another good one, probably.
Yeah.
So that's the news. Really quickly, just before we actually get into the show, and I don't want to take too long because these shows have been super long.
They have
get ready for the ride because we cannot make shows short. I'm sorry, and it's going to be even worse now that we're not doing it twice a month anymore, twice a week anymore. But this drops on Friday. Saturday is week 0. So Dante, what are you most excited about for football season to be back? It always feels like football season takes forever. I know in general, like we have other interesting things. So like you had basketball and different stuff like that, but still it feels like football takes forever. College football has the longest off season of any of the other major sports. And while there are not a lot of great games on, there are legitimate real deal football games on tomorrow. So what are you most excited about?
So I think I said this last year, and I'm going to end up saying it again this year. Having a reason to tell people no. I can't go out. There's a game on.
That's one of the worst reasons to be excited.
But it really is. I know. I trust and believe. I have another. I have more. But it's one. It's definitely one of the reasons. Like it's nice to be like, yeah, nah, bro, I gotta watch this game. But I'm excited to see what comes out, especially since we're going to be talking about Penn State today. I'm excited to see what comes out of these new young quarterbacks taking over at like Ohio State, Penn State, things like that. And and so I'm excited to see that. That's the one thing I'm excited for. But again, I am excited to not have to leave the house because I can watch football for a whole Saturday.
Yeah. I understand that. For me, football is my favorite sport. There's not another sport that equals it. I do some sick things on Saturdays. Largely, I don't leave the couch. I drink a lot of beer and or alcohol. I get wings almost every
I think I do get
so
wings every single time.
It's so bad for my diet, and I was literally just on a diet, lost a bunch of weight. Nobody cares, but like, man, I'm gonna have to go to the gym. I mean, I can, but like, I'm gonna have to go to the gym so much to offset my poor habits on the weekends. I literally,
I need to be going to the gym myself.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to go together, I've been going for people who don't know or don't remember. I used to watch, and this was hilarious last year. Actually, you know what I'm most excited about, and I mean this with absolutely no disrespect, because I love her. She's a mutual friend. But last year, I had a friend living with me and my wife, and she was in my office. So I didn't have my space to watch TV. And so I took over the living room, which is whatever, but I had to hear her and my wife walk back and forth in the house that I pay rent. And like, you're still watching football? Yes.
Yes, I am. What you mean? You know this.
This wouldn't be an issue if I had a room that I could close the door. So I'm very excited to have my space back. I watch like 6 games at once, and it's even worse because I want a TV. So now I have a TV mounted. I have a TV on my floor. I have my computer, which has 2 screens, and I still have an iPad. So I can put all stuff on that. And so I'm going to have like 4 games on at once. Yes. Like I'm not that bad. Only one of them is going to have sound, but I'm essentially the bar. Like I am the bar. I got the wings, I got the fries, I got the alcohol, and I got like 6 games on TV. But I watch by myself because I'm sick.
Yeah. No, also, I have 2 monitors, 2 computers, maybe a third on the way because my job has to.
Do you have actual desktop computers? Or are you talking about laptops?
Laptops.
Okay.
2 laptops. But honestly and truthfully, a computer might be on the way soon. I'm thinking for.
You don't have a gaming computer?
Not yet, but I think about getting myself one for Christmas. So I think I'm going to get a gaming PC. So then I'm going to have that as well. With probably a third.
Are you gonna have? I was just going to ask you, are you going to get a third screen?
Of course. And then I got a TV that I'm also going to use. I have enough, and then my phone that I can watch 6-7 games because I have all the Big Ten games on, and then an SEC game.
Yeah. So like, I don't watch on my phone because I live tweet. Which
I can do both because So that's the thing.
You talking about the screen?
The screen.
I don't like that.
I'm fine. I can still tweet and watch the game. Especially because the game on my phone is usually not
that important. I've done that before. It's not ideal for me, but yeah. So I'm excited to have my spot back. I'm excited to have this second TV. I'm excited to have I actually didn't have my desk in here last year. My room has changed a lot, so I'm excited to have my desk. So now I have my TV and my monitor. Just all the storylines, all the things like you said, Ohio State, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia, all have new quarterbacks. The Pac-12 is dying, but they have the best quarterbacks in the country. They have Caleb Williams. They have, outside of Drake May, who's in the ACC, but they have Caleb Williams. They have Michael Penix Jr. Utah is going to be good. UCLA may be starting a 5-star freshman. Oregon has a resurgence. Bo Nix. That's going to be fun. Is Alabama dead? Probably not. Is Clemson dead? Absolutely. Roadkill.
Absolutely. It's hilarious.
Is Florida State actually going to be good? LSU. There are just so many cool things about this season. But
Michigan do it for 3 years in a row. It's a lot.
Yeah. Which we're going to get into very soon. Because of the way the tiers broke down, I have to spoil something today that we're going to talk about more in depth on Monday. And then the last thing for me, as I just mentioned, I live tweet games. Football is just unique, and it sucks that Elon is killing Twitter. Because Twitter is one of the best things about football season. Like the live tweets and like the gifts and the tweets and the arguments and the different things that you get into, and like literally all you see is like wow, and you know everybody's watching the same game.
Same thing.
Same thing. Holy shit! Oh my god! Did he just do that? And it's like, yep. we're all watching insert whatever game. We all saw that. Like, it's just like that is one of my favorite things about football season. It's one of the few things that just like not in like this like kumbaya, like let's end
but like
the
everybody's
world peace
watching
like way, but it like brings everyone together. Like it's just like a really unique.
I do find it funny that a lot of people, because like especially like how you were just talking about your wife and our mutual friend that was staying with you, or like you still watching football. So like it's funny to be like 1 o'clock in the morning, like late at night, and you see someone go, the boys still talking about football.
Yes.
Like, isn't that stuff over? Like, football still on? Not at all. Yes, it's still on. I definitely am watching it. Like,
no, you know,
those are so funny because like even you don't even want to be a part of sports Twitter, and you still are because you brought it up. Like,
you want to know what's hilarious? So this is by far not the only reason. There are so many more important reasons. But if we never move to the West Coast, which I'm against it, if we never move to the West Coast, football is going to be a large reason of why. Because one time I had to look my wife in the windows of her soul and say, you realize they're 3 hours behind? So instead of me watching football from midnight to midnight, I'm going to be watching it from 9 a.m. to midnight. Because I'm still going to watch the Ohio State game at 9. Like, at least you get at least the first 3 hours of the day. I can wake up. I can cook breakfast. We be doing brunch, mimosas, different things like that. I can clean. We can go to the gym. We have time.
We got time. But that point,
if we move to Cali, I'm waking up at 8:30, cracking the beer at 8:35. That's 5 minutes to thaw from close and brush my teeth, if you were wondering. Cracking the beer at 8:35, and I'm watching football from 9 to midnight. Like, you don't want the extra 3 hours of football.
And it's
because I'll fall asleep before the 3 o'clock, before like 2, 3 a.m. Some of the late games, I fall asleep. I'm not gonna fall asleep. That game ends at midnight. I'm up the whole day. Well, technically,
those games are the West Coast games. That's why it's midnight for us, but it might be just 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, those games start sometimes they start at like 8, 9 o'clock. They go to 12, you know.
It don't be 12. It wouldn't be 12 West Coast time though. It'd be 12.
If it starts at 8 over there, it would end at like 11:30, right?
Games are like 3 hours.
Yeah,
I guess so.
It's basically.
Because I have been up at till like 1 a.m.
Yeah, because the game is still on. Because the game starts prime time over there. So I've literally turned on games here when I was writing my articles at 11 p.m. Like the game started at 11. So it's 9 to midnight, baby. What's up? She was like, nah. I mean, like that's again, that is not. But like, there are so many other things like the weather, how far away from family, the price, things like that. But that's like,
it's
somewhere
high.
in the top 10. Somewhere in the top 10.
I don't know. It's like nah. She's like, ain't no way. I don't love you that much. This love is conditional.
12 hours is bad enough. Once you hit 13, divorce.
13 is not.
Like, we're about to celebrate my divorce. If you don't get that reference,
oh my god. That's actually honestly, if you told me you were moving to the West Coast, I'm gonna be like, oh wow, Zaria literally is trying to divorce you. Like, that's what I'd be like, yo, are you not catching up on this?
The funny thing is, it would be her idea because I've never been interested in living in the West Coast.
That's why I'm saying she's trying to actively divorce you, because like that's crazy that she told you that you told her that, and she was like, yeah, I'll probably leave you, and then one day she was like, yeah, we're moving to the West Coast, like we should really do that. You should start looking at her like, what's going on? Like, what's the problem?
She didn't say she would probably leave me, but you just see the look in the eye, like the eyes droop, and it is like, can I handle this?
It's only one day though. That's the crazy part.
It's only one day for like a month out the year. Well, like, what is it? Like 3.5 months?
Yeah, I was going to say
it's like a quarter of the year.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what that. I don't know where a month.
Nigga, it starts tomorrow and then it ends in January. What are you talking about?
Yeah, 3.5 months.
We see 2 seasons go by in the middle of this.
4 months.
It's long.
All of September, all of October, all of November, but it's like half of December because of bowl games, and then the beginning of January. So it runs a little longer, but in total,
but it's technically part of 3 seasons: summer, fall, and winter.
Yeah, I be forgetting that the end of August is technically summer.
Yeah.
Once August hits, it's like
it's August is it's still summer until September 20th. Like
I don't like that.
Like, people forget that all the time.
That's because it's not true in Ohio. Like, it is not summer in September.
It depends on the year. Last year it was warm until October, November. So
well, that's because of global warming. We're all gonna die.
So. Hey, you're technically wrong.
All right, so let's take a quick break for the commercial ads, and then when we get back, we are going to get into USC. We're going to get into Penn State, and then we're going to get out of here. We have 4 teams left in our championship tier, so we will be right back after the messages. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the I-80 football show. As always, I am your host, Jordan. I'm here with my co-host, Dante. This is our first episode on the Fans First Sports Network. Tell your friends, go to Apple, go to Spotify, go to Google Podcast. If you use Google Podcasts, like, come on. Go to Google Podcasts, go to
Google Podcast,
Amazon Podcast.
I feel like if you do both of those, you just literally only like podcasts.
Yeah, go to...
That's all your entertainment.
Go to any of those places, okay? Go to any of those places and leave a 5-star review, tell your friends about it, share it on social media. We're trying to build up this feed. We're giving you everything that you need for football, starting this football season.
As currently watching football.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm behind you because I had to restart it.
Yeah.
I'm a Colts fan, and I've been long suffering. I've had to pay my penance for having Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. And hopefully my penance is over. We still got like a couple years before he's good. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like that fan. We still got a couple years before he's like really good or relevant, if he's ever going to be that. But I'm at the end of my penance, hopefully, for, lucking into a franchise that had 2 great quarterbacks. Although we didn't really luck at Andrew Luck because Ryan Grigson did everything. Ryan Grigson should have went to jail for what he did to Andrew Luck.
Y'all definitely that poor boy, and he loved that sport. I always think like maybe he'll come back, and then I go, no, probably not. Like, no, probably not.
He may have came back if he wouldn't have started a family, but he had a wife. His dad, he was already rich because his dad, Oliver, like, he had money. Mm-hmm. He's smart as hell. Has an engineering degree from freaking Stanford.
I thought it was all these architecture degree.
Sorry, it is architecture degree from freaking Stanford, and then he made all these millions. And he was like,
It was.
Speaking of people about to leave you, I have a beautiful wife who's about to leave me, or no, I'm not joking.
I know. I
read the interview. Their relationship was on the rocks.
It was on the rocks. It was on the rocks because
he was sick. Like
it was so meticulous. He was trying to be meticulous about everything. It was so sad. I literally
read an interview that, like, because that's not his personality. I literally read an interview that he bought into it so much and like so much in being in control that he would order for people at restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, he would go out and be like, they're having this, they're going to have this. Like, just like, I'm a quarterback, I command the huddle at all time kind of stuff. And his wife was going to leave him. And he's like, meh. And then she got pregnant and he was like, I'm rich. I'm finally, he wasn't healthy. He was still injured. I'm rich.
Oh, yeah.
I'm injured again. My relationship's on the rock. I'm about to have a girl. I'm rich. A girl isn't a baby. You already had a girl. I'm about to have a girl. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich. And I'm smart as hell. Like, do I need this? No.
Nope. And it was so great for him. It was so great for his health.
Yeah, he's winning.
He's
like, you see him like once every 4 or 5 months, and he's like doing a book club or like starting his own business or something crazy. Like he's I think he's actually in a master's program right now. He moved back to Stanford to do a master's program.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember what. I just you get an Andrew Luck article like once every 3 years. So I read the one that I saw, and it was about him going back to Stanford. Because he's doing it in a master's. I think he's trying to be a teacher or some weird shit you can do when you're rich. He's just like, I just want to be around. He's probably about to freaking coach high school football or something like that with like 30 M's in the bank, bro. Like,
I think he does. I think he is a coach where he does
we
coach.
We could have won a freaking Super Bowl, and now he's out in Cali coaching high school football, loving his wife, unlike Tom Brady.
And not hurt. And unlike Tom Brady is crazy.
Tom Brady don't love his wife.
I mean, he just caught a stray for no reason, but it is his fault he lost his wife.
It is, bro.
It is his fault. It truly is. And you lied to her several times.
And then he returned for a season that I don't even think they made the playoffs. Sick. That's sick.
Go out on top like you were supposed to and go home to your wife. You lied to that woman so many times. You thought she was gonna be like, yeah. Which is fair.
And you forgot you had a baddie. Like, I'm not trying. Listen, I'm gonna watch what I say. This was not like a high school sweetheart kind of, you lucked into the millions. This wasn't like I was nobody and you loved me when I was nothing. No, you went out and got one of the world's most popular models, one of the most beautiful white women out there, someone who is richer than you, by the way, and you pretended like she couldn't find another man. Like you pretended like she needed your money. She probably pays you spousal support. She got the money. And that is not a joke. That's not a joke. I mean, no one probably pays spousal support, but if anyone was going to, it'd be her.
It'd be her.
It'd be her. Like, yeah, when my kids go visit their broke ass daddy, they need to live the same lifestyle. That's how much more money she got than him. And then as soon as they got divorced,
a very rich man, broke ass daddy.
Yeah. As soon as they got divorced, she was immediately back and like the front page of magazines, all this other kind of stuff. Like, I'm not saying you should ever put football over your wife, but when your wife got options and more money than you, and there's not like
it's just like it's not even just
everybody
that.
It's not even just wife can't leave him.
No,
but what is her name? Janelle? That's not her name.
Giselle, yeah. But my thing is, it's like it's not even the fact that like picking football over your wife, because you got away with that. You were allowed you got away with it for a while, and then you got away with playing her. Yeah, but that was the thing. Like you got away with ignoring them, and then you got away with lying to them like twice. The fact that you went for a third time was like, bro, you was testing the waters.
Yeah.
You was testing it. I would have thought that as your wife, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay.
I'd have thought and then it's not even like, hey, like I'm not gonna retire. Just give me one more year. You actually retire, and then you spit in her face to be like, I'm coming back. No, you don't respect me.
You don't respect me.
You don't respect me. All right, bet.
I'm out of here.
Now you got to see her on the middle of magazines, and you got to do
or hear rumors of an old teammate doing something with you. Like
I didn't hear them rumors, but I don't know. They might be out there. And then you have to do these shitty.
Oh, it was on Twitter. They out there.
Was it?
Yeah,
and then you have to
Mr. Antonio Brown.
No, that's fake. That's fake.
It's fake, but that's the fact.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Still, you're right.
The fact that rumors happening like that, silly stuff like that happening.
And now he's doing these shitty ass Hurts commercials. Talk about love hurts. It don't hurt. If you would have retired, you're 45, bro. Your wife is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like your kids are right there. You didn't need another. You got your Super Bowl, bro. You could have ended it.
You could have left.
You could have hung up.
You could have stopped. And you decided to they did make the playoffs, but they got beat up on. They lucked into the playoffs.
Oh, that's right. Because they still had like a really bad record, right?
Yeah. But like, sad. Sad. But yeah, that was how did we do that? See, this
Colts.
is for
Colts, new quarterback.
See, new listeners, this is what happens.
Yeah. Andrew Luck retired.
Right.
To go be with his wife who's going to leave him, unlike Tom Brady. Boom. I was tracking. Now we're here. USC. Speaking of actually, let's not even do this. Okay? We're going to talk about Arizona Cardinal quarterback Caleb Williams. Did you see what the Cardinals did today?
No,
did you see? No, bro. You're doing this. Did you see what the Cardinals did today?
No, I did not.
So they traded Isaiah Simmons, who, whatever, okay? But, like, he was a starting player for them. They traded him for, like, a 7th-round pick. And then, because Kyler Murray is either injured or suspended. I don't remember which one. He's going to miss a couple of games.
Right.
Or it's both. I really don't remember. The guy who was supposed to be their starting quarterback until Kyler came, they just traded him. Yes. And then they traded, here's the thing, right? Their starting left tackle last year, he was not great, but they drafted a left tackle. So what you could have had is a starter backing up your rookie. So one, to teach your rookie, and two, if your rookie gets injured, you have a starting level backup. Traded him. Traded him. So yeah, they're selling out. Like
they're blatantly
tanking.
Blatant.
So yes, we're talking about Arizona Cardinals quarterback Caleb Williams.
That's nuts. I did not see them do that.
Yeah, sick work. And then they're gonna get out there and be like, "Oh, we don't tank. This is the NFL. Well, our players go for it every day." Sure.
They might.
But
behind the scenes, you're making sure those players aren't that good. So even when they put their all out there, you still lose.
Yeah, you're doing literally like they're playing their hardest, and you're doing literally everything you can to handicap them.
Yep.
So USC has Caleb Williams, right? Side note, did you see? People are so annoying, bro. So the college game is coming out, and every once in a while, like literally 95% of athletes and people who have never been athletes wouldn't sign up for like $50 to be in that video game.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, they want to bring up the 1 or 2 players, the 5% who don't think they're being paid enough to be in the video game. So someone tweets today, Caleb Williams unsure if he'll be in the video game, something group licensing and a couple other things. Caleb Williams is going to be in Madden.
Yeah.
He's literally not going to be in college football next year. Why does it matter? Like,
who cares?
He's not going to be in the NCAA football game.
He's not going to
be in Madden. He's going to be like a 76 in Madden because that's how they do all rookies. That's actually a high rating for a rookie. Like, so why are you? And then it's like, oh, something group licensing, whatever. You're going to be in Madden. Those players don't make money off Madden. It's like a couple $100. And they don't get a choice. They negotiate for the players union, like what the number is, but it's not high.
Yeah, you ain't getting shit.
And I don't think players get a choice not to be in Madden because it's in the players.
No, it's an NFL license game, pretty much. So you're in Madden.
So first of all,
not licensed, but
you're right. It is licensed. Yeah. So first of all, get over the group licensing because you're going to be doing that your entire career, and you're going to get like $300-$400 from Madden. Also, why are you talking about an NCAA video game you are not eligible to be in?
You're not going to be in it. It's just not.
So it's just like okay, fine. There are 5% of people who don't.
Because that game come out next year?
It comes out next summer. Yeah,
and they're going to be.
In training camp. It comes out like July.
Oh, he would be in the game because they're going to do past. They're going to do the past season, not the upcoming season. Or do they?
No, it's just like Madden. It's always the upcoming season.
Oh yeah, then he's not. Who cares, Caleb? Yeah, bro, you're going to be on the Arizona Cardinals.
Like, bro, stop
by the time that game comes out, you're going to be on the Arizona Cardinals.
So aside from that, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is one of the 2 best quarterbacks in college football.
Yep.
I have some issues with his game. I'm not sure that his game translates to the NFL. That doesn't mean he's not going to be the first number 1 pick. I just think that there are things that he does that are going to cost him in the NFL, especially because he's not that big. He's not little, but he's not that big. He's like whatever. So, but I mean, he's so fun to watch. So the overall question for USC, and we'll get into a little bit of a deep dive. The overall question for USC, yes or no, can they make the playoffs this year? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs this year?
No.
Why?
That defense.
Exactly. They're a Lincoln Riley team. Caleb Williams is great. But you know who else Lincoln Riley had? Baker Mayfield, good college quarterback.
He was a good college quarterback. Yeah, he was.
You know
He
who else
was
he
good,
had?
not great, but good.
Yeah, you know who else he had? Kyler Murray.
Yep.
You know who else he had? Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
You know what he did with all of them?
Got him Heisman's.
He didn't win it. He didn't. I don't think Lincoln Riley's. No, I know because it's only 2 games. Lincoln Riley has never won a playoff game.
I don't think he's made a playoff
Some of those.
game.
No, he has. He has. It's been a while. He made it like 15-16 or like 15-17 or something like that. He made it. It's been a while, but he has made it. He made it with Baker, I think, and then I think he made it again with Kyler, or maybe it was Jalen. He's made it twice.
I think he's only. I swear he's made. Okay, he's made it with Jalen. I don't remember.
So and he also made it with Baker. Baker was a while ago. It was it was like 2015. He made it with them and got blew out.
I didn't think Baker made the playoffs.
It had to have been because it was Baker. It was Baker, Kyler, Jalen, right? I don't think he made it with Kyler. I'm pretty sure he made it with Baker.
Okay.
And like
I thought he only made it once because I remember the Jalen Hurts, but I don't remember Baker or Kyler. But that's just my memory. I could be wrong. We have Google.
Let me see. Can I spell Oklahoma? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm fairly positive. Bowl games. Lord have mercy. Oh, he's been to the tournament 3 times.
3?
Yeah.
Did he make it twice with Baker?
College football playoffs 0-3.
So, okay, hold on. So he made it. I was right about 2015. He made it 15. Wait, there's no way he made it 4 times.
No, he's only 0-3.
Oh, wait. No. So the other time he may not have been a head coach. He may have been offensive coordinator. That's right. They made the playoffs in 2015 with Bob Stoops, but he was the offensive coordinator. Let's see. 10. Riley. 15. However, versus the other assistant 4 teams.
Rose, orange,
peach. The Sooners received. Yeah, so he received 2015, which was the second playoff. They lost to Clemson in the Orange Bowl. When was Baker the starting quarterback? 2015, right? That was Baker?
Sure.
Okay, hold on.
Because I'm looking at 17, 18, 19, 20.
So 17, 18, 19 is Riley. But I got stuck on 2015, which really doesn't matter. Yes, okay. So Baker wasn't Riley's quarterback. Riley was the offensive coordinator. But Bob Stoops was still the
Okay, that makes more sense.
So they made it in 15. And then in 17,
18, and 19.
So 17, yeah. So 17, they lost to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And Baker Mayfield was there for a while. He also had Baker made the playoffs twice. He made it in 15 and 17.
Oh, okay. So that's
because he was drafted in 3 years. Yeah. Yep. And then Kyler Murray made it and lost. And then 19 would have been Jalen Hurts, made it and lost.
Yeah.
But the problem is with this, of why we don't think they're going to make it this year, is the current this year's Pac-12 is not the Big 12.
Mm-mm.
You could argue they're not the best team in the Pac-12.
Yep.
They were always the best team in the Big 12. So despite the fact that this is the same team, superstar quarterback, amazing play caller, iffy offensive line, horrible defensive line, just bad defense. Dog shit defensive head coach, and like 1 or 2 players that are kind of cool, their path is harder. Because they're not playing like Oklahoma State of 2016. They're not playing Texas of 2016. I mean, he would struggle. I think he would do it this year if he was at Oklahoma still, but he would struggle even more at Oklahoma because this year's Big 12 is harder than the Big 12 that he was going to. He's a good coach, but it's
still tougher. It just would have been tougher.
And it'll never be good until he gets a good defense, no matter how good your quarterback is. And Alex Grinch knows where his bodies are. He knows where his mistress is. He knows where the illegitimate child, whatever it is.
Something.
Grinch knows it because, oh my God, this is why you draft this kid. He was dead to rights. I mean, he didn't pick up the first down, but still. Anyway, he knows where something is because
this game.
He still has Dude just blitzed right up the middle. Jab, spin out, look downfield, nobody open. You pick up a couple yards, and you just made it an easier field goal. This is going to be an exciting, horrible season for the Colts.
Exciting, horrible season.
I can't wait. We're going to lose so many games, but Anthony Richardson's just going to make me happy.
Exciting, horrible season is hilarious.
So, USC, they're going to be good, but unfortunately, they have Washington, they have Oregon, and they have Utah. And they may be better than 1, 2, or 3 of them, but when you got to play all 3 of them, you're going to have some losses.
Honestly, UCLA is not going to be an easy.
Right. Oregon State's not going to lay down. Oregon State won 10 games last year.
Yeah, and with a bad defense, those games are tough where you should be winning them hands down. So it's going to be rough. And the fact, and I'm looking here, they're bringing that back 78% of that defense production. 78% of terrible defense.
Yeah. As an Ohio State fan, I can tell you, if Bryson Shaw is still starting for them, you're losing 2 games. Because Bryson Shaw started for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we were horrible. And he got shipped out.
They give up almost 300 yards passing.
Yeah. It's funny because Alex Grinch was our DC for 1 year. He got shipped out, went to Lincoln Riley. But Alex Grinch is the reason Bryson Shaw was on our roster. He was horrible, and he went home to Pops, who for some reason likes him. He's awful, and he's starting for them. Like
maybe Shaw knows something about Grinch. Maybe. And that's why.
So in the I-80 conspiracy, Alex Grinch knows something about Lincoln Riley, which is why he keeps his job. And when Bryson Shaw got kicked out of Ohio State, he has something on Alex Grinch. So he made Alex Grinch accept him in the transfer and start him, even though he's awful.
Yep.
You know what? You want to know what's funny? We're both pretty high on Kalen Bullock, their other safety.
Yep.
Could you imagine being him, who's actually a good player, and looking to your left or right and seeing an absolute awful player next to you, and you're just like, I got to do this whole thing by myself.
It's legit. You're just like, I'm in Southern California. I'm in Southern California. We're going to the Big Ten. You bitches. You fucking bitches. You lucky I only got 1 more year because I'm out of here.
What did Dr. J say? Women, weed, and weather. It's like that's what's keeping me, dog.
That's always
Bryson Shaw about to make me transfer.
I look out the window. There's women in bikinis. Like I'm
at all time, Bryce.
I just got 1 more.
And if you don't like women, there's men with their shirt off. We accept everything around here.
What is he? A sophomore?
Who?
Who are we talking about?
Which one? No, he's a junior.
He's a junior?
But he should be drafted. He's going to the draft.
He's out of here. He don't even got to worry about that code.
But Bryson Shaw
get drafted by the Steelers or some shit.
Yeah, I mean he does because like 70% of NFL teams are in cold weather.
But
except for the ones in
this year, he cool.
Yeah,
unless he get drafted by the Rams, and it's like lucky you're going against a lot of dome teams. For real.
Facts. So Caleb Williams, amazing. Next question for Caleb Williams: can he win the Heisman again?
It's possible. He's going to be a candidate for it, and if they put up the numbers they put up, last year, again, if he passes for 335 yards a game, again, he's going to be a candidate, and he's probably going to be the front runner to start the season. Apparently, if you lose 3 games, you can win the Heisman. So, I mean,
so here's my thing. I don't think and this is my college football conspiracy. I don't think they won another 2-time Heisman winner. It may happen in our lifetime because I'm 28. I think you're 29. It may happen in our lifetime, but they don't. There's a reason it's only happened once. And there have been players who probably had a season eligible for a second one. And it's just like LeBron has 4 MVPs, could easily have 6 or 7. Kobe has how many? 1. Could easily have 2, 3, or 4. Shaq has the really, really big star players. 1 could probably have 2 or 3. MJ has 5.
MJ has 6. Every championship he won an MVP.
Okay, and but that's the thing.
I believe
MJ was in an era where obviously the media didn't get tired of people because there's a lot of players who could have more MVPs and just don't because of MVP bias. You could argue that Nikola Jokic should have won 3 straight. But you want to know why he didn't? Because he had absolutely no chance to win 3 straight because the media wasn't going to let that happen. And so even if he's deserving, which he may be deserving, I just think he has to be so much better than everyone. And
he has 5.
Wasn't that much better.
MVPs.
5, okay, that's what I thought. He wasn't that much better than even CJ Stroud last year and some of the other players that if, let's say, he has maybe a couple hundred more yards and like 2 more touchdowns or 3 more touchdowns, they may still give it to Drake May or Michael Penix Jr. or Marvin Harrison Jr., something like that, just because they don't want to give it to him again. That is my conspiracy theory. I don't think they want another 2-time Heisman winner, and I think you have to be ungodly to get it.
Yeah.
I just think you have to be like there's just absolutely, if there's even the tiniest bit of doubt, for narrative purpose, they're going to give it to someone else.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'll say he's going to start off as a front runner, but I think with narrative purposes, especially if they lose certain games, or if they look vulnerable in games where they shouldn't look vulnerable, even though that's going to be probably more than likely the defense's fault, but still,
and that's the other thing. He lost 2 games last year and won it, but I bet you he couldn't lose 2 games again and win it.
No,
they would have to go 12-0 and make the playoff for him, no matter what his stats are. I think
for him to win it. I don't know about that. He would have to make the playoffs.
I think they'd have to go 12-0. But again, it's just my conspiracy theory. No. I'm just saying. I think he has to be spectacular. I think they have to go 12-0. They have to beat Washington, Oregon, all these other teams, and he has to be special the entire time. Just because, no matter how good he is, no matter how deserving, I don't think they want to give another. They don't want to give a 2-time Heisman.
Oh, true. Well, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a good enough season for him to win it 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But I do think he'll put up great numbers, but I don't think they win enough games for it to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's gonna.
But he will be a candidate to start out. Absolutely. He already is. He already is. Since we're talking about it, like technically,
he'll absolutely be in New York.
For sure. Oh yeah. He's gonna be. I don't think he wins it either.
Yep. All right. So just really quickly, they were third.
They might give it to Michael Penix Jr.
Probably. I think it's gonna be him, Drake May, or Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
If Marvin Harrison touches 18, he wins it. 1,800 yards and like 14 touchdowns, he wins it. Because that's around the numbers that Devontae Smith had, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has all the hype and all the name. I mean, aside from the fact that he's also just really good, and then they're also going to put in the fact that like Ohio State doesn't have even if he's great, he doesn't have a well-known quarterback, so he's going to get the narrative battle of is the quarterback good because of Marvin Harrison Jr.
True.
This is one of the rare years that a wide receiver could win it. I think it'll be my top 3 would be Michael Penix, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Drake May, in whichever order you want to put him
in. Yeah, but he'll be there. He'll definitely be there.
Absolutely, he'll be there. So 3 in scoring offense, 5 in points per game, 3 in total offense, 3 in yards per play. Great. They're not really good running the ball.
No.
They're 53rd in rushing offense, but I mean, when you pass as much as they do, it's hard to also run the ball a lot.
They're not. I don't think they want to run the ball.
that too. But their 3rd passing offense, 4th yards per attempt, 3rd QB ratings, 2nd touchdown interception ratio. But Sheesh. this is the part where this is on Caleb Williams and the offensive line. 52nd in sack per attempt. Caleb Williams, and this is the part where I say he doesn't transfer great to the NFL game because, and this is the same issue I have with Bryce Young. Obviously, it doesn't matter. I'm not drafting him. He still went number 1. Yeah. I don't think either one of them play well in structure. And what I mean by structure is 1, 2, 3, ball out. Boom. 1, 2, 3, first read, second read, ball out. They do read. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they don't read the field, but they're much more prefer let the pressure come. Let's work some magic. I'm gonna direct this guy 50 yards. They don't work great.
I give you that for Caleb. I can't fully agree.
Bryce Young was the same way with me.
Right? No, because I watched games. Bryce Young, like there'd be drives where he'll go, boom, and it would be real precise. He'll do what he has to do. He'll even make the read. He didn't even move. He did it'd be like one or two times, but most of the time he'll sit there in the pocket, go boom, and he could do it. Yeah, he does like to make magic, but I'm saying he can and is willing to play under structure.
I will give you that he does it more than Caleb, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that is still my biggest concern. And again, I'm not an NFL evaluator. I take it very seriously. I don't like to just say things out of the side of my neck, but obviously other people like this matter. That's not what I'm saying. He's still gonna be the number.
Oh, yeah.
But the sacks, that's a lot of that's on him. A lot of it's on him. It just is. And so whatever. He's gonna be awesome. The offense is going to be awesome. They do have to replace Travis Dye, the running back. They got a 5-star transfer from South Carolina. They have to replace Jordan Addison, but they got another transfer from Arizona State, who had 1,000 yards, and they still have Mario Williams. I mean, the offense is just going to be good. They did get some transfers on defense, including Bear Alexander from Georgia, but tell me if I'm wrong, because sometimes you disagree with me on things like that. If you transfer, and again, it's not.
No, I know where you're going with this.
But if you transfer from two-time champion Georgia, it's
two-time best defense.
You're not that you're bad, but like if Georgia needed you, they wouldn't have let you transfer.
There's a reason you're transferring. I get where you're going. I get where
like Marvin Harrison Jr. couldn't transfer from Ohio State.
Oh God,
Caleb Williams couldn't transfer from USC. They would lay out everything. If Georgia's letting you transfer, I'm not saying you're bad. It means you're not necessary for what they do. So you may still be better.
I think you're still a good pick. You're still a great pickup for USC.
Yeah, but the hype that I'm hearing from other people, because Georgia's attached to it, a lot of
Georgia's defense is not coming with him. Right. It's just him.
Exactly. And if you really pay attention, most Ohio State transfers not good at the next place. Most Georgia transfers, Alabama, like Michigan, these transfers from these really good programs, they typically transfer because they couldn't make it. And you have your Jamison Williams, who Ohio State had 6 first-round draft picks, so he went to Bama and balled out. You have your Michael Penix Jr. You transfer.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but what you just said was he transferred from Ohio State to where? Alabama. Bama. So like, you transferred from one big name to another big name and made it. There was just way too much going on at one big name, and the other big name just had enough space. Right. Like that's all that was. Like you just went from one big name to another.
So in that case, but that's rare, right?
Yeah.
Your Jameson Williams, your Joe Burrows, your Michael Penix, that's rare.
Yeah. More Jalen Hurts. Even though we already knew Jalen Hurts was good. That was the crazy part.
But 90% of the transfer portal is you just weren't good enough. They kicked you out. You weren't going to make it. You had a bad attitude. You got in trouble with crime. You didn't want to work out. Whatever it is. A lot of these transfers, they don't work.
It's usually if it's too much going on, but you are good, but there's just too much going on.
But that's rare. That's like 5% of the transfer portal. And so I think that they have a lot of hype around him, but I'm not sure. And even if he is good, if the rest of the line's not that good and the coach isn't as good, can they get as much out of him?
He was getting playing time on that Georgia D. It's just the Georgia defense has a lot. Yeah. And it probably, you know what? He was a junior too. They probably had a freshman, that's just as good and was like, he's younger. We're going to have to use him.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens. That's probably what it is. I think it's still a good pickup. You got to transfer.
Oh yeah, I mean you got it
for your bad defense. It's not going to help that much because it's still a bad defense,
and he's a defensive tackle.
Yeah, like you could get
Aaron Donald is
your sacks numbers. Your sacks numbers might go up.
Maybe. But defensive tackles typically aren't the people that sack people.
Yeah. Aaron Donald, but that's what I'm saying.
One of the best defensive tackles in the world, and the Rams were shitty last year.
Yeah, I think
one player, and especially a defensive tackle, can't control your outcome.
And then with Aaron Donald is he getting 3 people on him.
True. Yeah. But that's that's the best defensive tackle in the world, and he couldn't take the.
I'll say is,
so what is a college defensive tackle going to do?
I say your sack numbers probably will go up because of where you play. A lot of the teams you play have a lot of the run and gun passing type of offenses like Oregon, Washington, and all that. So the sack numbers are going to get up if you are good enough to demand double, maybe even triple teams from time to time. Somebody's going to go up.
That good though.
Something.
I mean,
there. I feel like in the Pac-12, yes.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let me read this.
Certain teams. So like UCLA, he'll be good against. He could might demand double
Chip
teams.
Kelly always has a good offensive line. I think that's a bad example.
Okay, fair.
But I do get what you're saying, and I don't think that you're wrong. I just think that to read their defense, 94th in scoring, 107 in points, 106 in total, 124 in yards per play, 109 in rush and third down conversion, 80 in rushing. That if he's good, that number comes down.
That number.
They allow rushing.
Yeah,
they allow less rushing, but they were 117th in yards per carry, 62nd in negative rush play. That's pretty good. But they were 122 in explosive rush because Bryson Shaw can't tackle anybody. They were 112 in pass defense, 113 in yards per attempt, 100 in QB rating, 108 in completion percentage, and 82nd in explosive pass. And they return 78% of their production. So that my point is, even if he's an All-American, I don't know that he's that, but even if he is, people are like, "Oh, they got Barry Alexander. It's going to work out." It's not. That's one player.
It's just going to. It's
going
to be
a lot of issues.
It's
going
to improve a little bit. It's going to improve a little bit, but not much. Like you have to have a lot go right.
And as someone that loved the front seven, I'm sorry, a defensive tackle is just not enough. I'm sorry.
Like the rest of them got to be good too. Like the rest of that. Those players have to be great for it to really work out. Not even great, but be good for him to be. Then he would have to be good, close to great for it to work out. It's just a lot of iffiness
had a game
with
where
defense.
he had like 5 sacks, and he couldn't get Nebraska to win a national championship. It just takes more, even if he is everything that they hope he is, it just takes more than one player.
Yeah.
So I feel like we talked a lot about USC, but really said nothing because we spent most of the time on Caleb Williams. But he is USC.
Yeah, it's going to be an offensive. Lincoln Riley is an offensive coach. This is an offensive team, and when you focus on one side, it can work in the Pac-12. But even then, since the Pac-12, you're not the best team in the Pac-12,
right?
It
the Pac-12 is harder
enough.
than the Big 12. Yeah. But you still have to play Utah. You have to play Oregon. You have to play Washington. You have to play UCLA. It's much tougher than the Big 12 where you came from.
And they have to face Notre Dame, which, again, I don't think Notre Dame
and Notre Dame.
But, like,
I
mean,
when you have a bad offensive line,
they can run the ball on you. They can run it. If they see a weakness and your weakness is defense, and that's always been your thing, Lincoln Riley.
Oh my God! Did I realize this? They played Notre Dame and Utah back to back.
They're losing
one, if not both, of those games.
I have them losing both.
Do you?
Yes.
What do I have?
You have it win-loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because I'm pretty low on Notre Dame.
I just think USC's defense is going to be so bad that you could lose to Notre Dame. Because you can control if Notre Dame can control the clock. That keeps that great offense.
And Notre Dame might actually finally have a quarterback. Not a great one, but much better than what they've had for a while.
Yeah.
I still don't know if they have anybody on the offense. Oh, man, that's going to be interesting.
But that's what I'm saying. My thing is like if you can just control the clock enough and you can make – Caleb Williams, he'll make mistakes.
Yes.
He does make mistakes, and Lincoln Riley makes mistakes.
Yes, also.
So –
Caleb Williams, if I remember correctly, Caleb Williams kind of fumbles the ball. Like, not like a lot, but he takes a lot of
concerning.
So he fumbles. And that's the one thing that I wanted to mention. They, where is that stat? They led the country in takeaway margin. That is luck. That's always luck. Mm-hmm. So on top of the different changes and other things going on, you're just not going to lead the country. You had a better takeaway margin than Iowa. That's not going to happen again. It's just statistically, it's not going to happen again. And that's going to make them a step worse. And if their offense or something else doesn't account for their takeover luck going down a little bit, there you have it right there. That's where they get that third loss. That's where they get that Notre Dame loss or whatever it is. But ultimately, even if they don't get the third loss, they still probably end up with 2 because that's the Lincoln Riley special.
That's the Lincoln Riley special.
So let's go through the schedule. First of all, they play this Saturday. Secondly, you can't watch it because it's on Pac-12 Network, and you don't have that.
Oh, brother, no one has that.
Exactly. That's my
point. Damn.
Even if it is San Jose State, like no one's watching that game.
No one's watching that. And if you are, you're a bigger sicko than I am. You're a bigger sicko than Jordan.
Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough.
That's real tough.
Okay, so San Jose State, easy dub. Nevada, easy dub. Stanford, easy dub. They get an early bye because
this happened last year to them, didn't they?
No, because they didn't play in week 0. But it happened to one of the Big Ten teams that we.
Oh yeah. Indiana and Northwestern.
Northwestern played Nebraska, so it was Nebraska and Northwestern.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do remember that happening. Yeah.
Yep. Arizona State win. Colorado bloodbath. R.I.P. Dion. That team looks like a high school. I think Dion's still going to be good there, but it's going to take some time. And I've seen the videos
and
from
they
him.
should know
it looks like a high school.
They should know that.
Arizona, easy dub.
Should be.
And then you get Notre Dame at Notre Dame. You follow it up with Utah.
6 weeks of nothing, and then you finally get some real competition week 7.
At night at Notre Dame, 7:30 Eastern. Listen, I have a win, you have a loss, but that's a tough game. And here's the thing. And I think they beat Notre Dame, but if they don't beat Notre Dame, they lose them both. Like that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a flip. If they lose to Notre Dame, they don't beat Utah.
They are not going to beat Utah.
I think they lose to Utah no matter what. But the emotions that they're going to come off of that Notre Dame game and being beat up and being if they lose to Notre Dame,
because I'm telling you right now, if they lose to Notre Dame, Caleb Williams is not going to win the Heisman. He's going to be in New York, but that'll be the game he loses the Heisman.
Yep, and then immediately they have to go to play Utah, which is just better Notre Dame.
Yep,
lost.
Way much better Notre Dame.
Yeah. So I have win-loss. You have loss.
Yep.
California win. Washington, we both have loss.
Yep.
Oregon, which is another losable game, but we both have them winning.
Yeah.
And then UCLA, which again, technically a losable game, we both have them winning. Yep. Now, here's the thing that I want to talk about. Because of the way they did their buys, they have a bye the last week of the season.
Yep.
If they make the Pac-12 championship game, probably a decent thing. Probably okay. If they don't, and they end their season a week before everyone, people are just going to laugh at them. Do you listen to Flatbush Zombies?
No.
Okay. Have you watched the Carrie movie?
Yeah.
You know,
they're all going
to laugh. Yeah. Yep. That's going to be that. So I have 10-2. You have 9-3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad year, but when you coming off the Heisman winner and you have Lincoln Riley and everyone thought you were going to be the savior, that's not what you want.
Nah. Especially with my record, you're not making the Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah.
Not at 9-3.
Nope, not at all. So Penn State, man, I've been thinking about this for a while. And I'm trying to figure out how to talk about them without sounding like a hater. And a lot of times when you bring up legitimate concerns, you always sound like a hater. And that is my biggest thing, because I don't want people to say, oh, you're just salty because they said that they're going to beat Ohio State. I'm not. Ohio State don't pay me. I don't like them losing because I take it very emotionally.
But if Ohio State,
ultimately they don't pay me. But yes. If you want to pay me,
for no reason at all, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
so, Penn State.
Oh, this was preseason. No one cares.
Penn State's going to be good, straight up, straight down.
They usually are. But
here's the thing: people are predicting Penn State. I literally I listened to a podcast today. And they had Drew Aller winning a Heisman. Not winning. Sorry. I don't want to put words in their mouth.
Oh.
Being a Heisman finalist, saying he could potentially be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country, and that Penn State was going to go to the playoff. And this goes into the conversation that how do you know? That's my problem.
I
and
guess
we're not going to rehab the conversation.
I guess it's just hope. Because it's like, well, you know what? They're probably going off of things like, what happened with Washington and TCU and things like that. Like, they're probably trying to say, like, I think this might be the most open the Big Ten has ever been. And this is probably the best chance, I guess, for Penn State to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I do agree with that, and we don't have to rehash the conversation from last podcast.
Yeah.
But that's the issue that I was having. You can have hope, fine, but when you make these declarative statements with no reason to back it up, and there's no proof in the pudding, there's nothing. It's just like, I'm gonna say this to my national audience and expect you to believe it. I have an issue with that. Because I don't get paid to be a journalist, and I get proof to back up every point prediction, everything that I make. And you get to go and see and make however much money and have 50,000 followers and all this other kind of stuff and get to say stupid shit without backing it up. What is the precedent for Drew Aller to be a top 5 quarterback next season?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was my problem. Not saying that he can't be. I don't think he's gonna be. But like, I'm not saying he's gonna be top 50. He might still be top 10 or top 15. But the things that I'm hearing about Penn State, it's just like, just tell me why. Like, you can say it, but like, tell me why. Like, I'm a sports fan. Maybe you went to just tell me why. Because I can tell you why I don't, and I'm going to why I think they're going to be good, but not that good. Mm-hmm. But you can't tell me why you think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. You can't tell me why you think he's going to be a Heisman finalist. You can't tell me why you have them beating Ohio State and Michigan, which they haven't done in like 10 years. Like, you can't tell me why.
Yeah.
And that's my issue. And that's why I think I want it, like, I'm starting this on this, and I literally only have them losing 1 game. So I don't want you to think that I think that Penn State's going to be bad. I just don't think that after not doing it for 10 years with a first-time quarterback, this is going to be the year they go 12-0, beat Ohio State and Michigan, make the playoff as a 2 seed, and make the national championship. I'm sorry. I think it's a year or two too early. And James Franklin's a loser.
Dang.
He is, because you also can't give me a good reason why Penn State hasn't beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Even before Michigan finally.
Even last year's game, you should have won. You should have won last year's game.
2 years in a row, Ohio State beat them by 1 point.
Yeah,
James Franklin is a loser.
You should have lost. You should have beaten them twice. Yeah.
You're telling me he's.
And you should have beat Michigan too.
Michigan.
Yeah, because you should have beaten Michigan. You got close to beating Michigan. You should have won those games
one
too.
Of them?
You should have won those games. Those games were close. That's why people. I get why people are so high up on Penn State, because it's like it should be about time. I get
but
that.
It's been about time for years.
That's true too. Like I'm not mad at people thinking Penn State can go 12-0. I do think there might be a chink in the armor for Ohio State this year and Michigan this year. But I also think there's a chink in the armor, especially since the fact that your quarterback is a freshman. There's a chink in your armor as well.
And the other thing is, if top to bottom, Penn State has the 3rd best roster.
Yeah, it's possible. It's come close. You have come close. So it's like when we say, like, I don't think you're going to win, it's not the fact that it's not possible. It's definitely possible because you came close. You almost did it last year and the year before. But I'm
not saying you're a scrub dog. I'm not saying that.
And
but
maybe
I am saying
maybe they're just thinking it's the same thing with Michigan. Like, maybe the James Franklin finally going to get over the hump and win that game, even if you're going to.
Like, I'm an Ohio State fan.
Like, what happened with Jim Harbaugh? Like, maybe, I guess.
But, like, I get it. Like, I understand why you could pick them to beat Ohio State. Yeah. I disagree, but I understand it. But you're going to pick them to beat Ohio State and Michigan? Why? Tell me. And if the answer is you think a first-time starter is just going to be that good, I don't believe you. I'm sorry.
It's happened with you guys.
Yeah, but that's the point that I've made. It's happened with us, with the best wide receiver core in the country, multiple first-round pick wide receivers, a quarterback coach / offensive coordinator / head coach who has put 3 straight quarterbacks into the first round and another quarterback into the – like, that's a precedent. Penn State's quarterbacks have been awful. Their offensive coordinator, average. They're like, that's the thing. Like, it happens, but it doesn't happen to everyone. There are 4 programs it's happened to. And one of them has already hit their blimp. It happened to Ohio State. It happened to Lincoln Riley, whichever program he's at. But we're going to say Oklahoma because he's only had one quarterback. It's happened and half of those quarterbacks were transfers. It happened at Alabama and it happened at Clemson. But even Clemson fell off because their last quarterback sucked and is now at Oregon State. Even for Ohio State, it can end at any point. But if you told me Alabama is going to bounce back because their quarterback is going to be great, okay, there's proof in that. Ohio State's going to bounce back because their quarterback's going to be great. Okay, there's proof in that. Penn State's going to have a Heisman contender when they've literally never had one ever with a very similar. I just can't believe that without seeing it.
I guess the only thing they could be saying, because the Big Ten is the open it's ever been. I think it's the most winnable for these 3 teams because I think only 3 teams can win. Well, I do think Illinois has a potential, but
I think Illinois would still lose to whoever came out.
Yeah, but I think for these 3 teams, I think it's the most open for them for either one to take on in the Big Ten this year. For sure.
So I got
once we see what happens this year, then it's like, okay, probably not.
Yeah. So got that off my chest, said whatever. Let's talk about why they could win it. Because even saying all of that, I literally only have them losing once. Because last year they only lost twice. They're always a good team. Yeah. I just think the jump that people expect them to make is hard with a first-year quarterback, a head coach who's a proven loser, and 2 other really good teams. Just straight up. Yeah. So
just at least just as good as you. If you think even Penn State is that good, those other 2 teams are as good as you.
And it literally took me a month and a half to only have them losing once because I was going to have them lose twice, literally up until the minute before we started recording this because it was just hard. But I do believe in them a little bit. So here's why people think they're going to be good. Taking out the Drew Allen thing, he was a 5-star quarterback, but a lot of 5-star quarterbacks don't work out. So, but you do have that. If we're going to talk about why, we have to talk about all of it. People think that he is the most talented and going to be the best quarterback that they've ever had. Okay. So that's part of why.
Yeah.
That's part of why. They have 2 really good running backs. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. Studs. Really good.
They have a really good offensive line.
I'm not so sure about that. They have a great left tackle. I'm not so sure their entire offensive line is going to be good again. But I'm not sure
Did they lose a lot in the draft or just because of age in that part of the offense?
They've lost a couple of people, but not I think they're replacing at least 2 people. I think they're replacing their center, Juice Scruggs, and then their right tackle. Yeah, I think that's it. But they do have playing experience. Like it's not total rebuild, but there is.
It's a good offensive line. It was
but you said great.
I thought it was great last year.
I think it was. I think this year it may take a step back to good. There's a difference between but still, it's not bad, which it was 3 years ago. Yes. So we can at least good or great. It is at least not bad. We can agree on that. And then there are some exciting pieces on the defense. People are very excited about Chop Robinson. People are excited about Adisa Isaac. I'm excited. This is not the podcast to get into my things with Chop Robinson. Because it's going to take too long.
Yeah.
This is what I'll say about Penn State's defense. I think Penn State's defense only has 2 possibilities. They're going to be excellent or they're going to be okay. And not like, but okay by their standards, like 20th in the country, which is still good, but that's okay by their standards when they've almost always had a top 10 defense. And this is why. Let me finish. Let me say this as I'm talking to myself because you weren't stopping me. They have a lot of athletes, but I'm not sure they have a lot of players who are good at the position that they play. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? And so if your athletes out-athlete everyone, then they're going to be great. They're probably going to have a top 5 defense. But if people are able, and by people I largely just mean Ohio State and Michigan, if people are able to expose your athletes by putting them in positions where they just need to be good at their position, they could lose those games. You know what I'm saying?
I give you that. I guess
Chop Robinson, I don't think is a good defensive end, but he's an exceptional pass rusher. And I say this because I literally was just watching some film on him, and almost all of his sacks, he had 6.5, I believe, were speed rushes. He's not great against the run. He's a freaking like crazy twitchy athlete. I don't know how big he is, but I bet you he runs like a 4.4. Like I want y'all to
understand. He's a transfer.
I'm not. He was there yes, but he was there last year.
Last year, okay. I think with another year under your belt, though, especially so now that you have to play for this defense, I think he's gonna learn to get better at stopping the run. I ain't gonna say he's gonna be much better at it, but I think you'll see improvements.
That would definitely be the hope. They're gonna need that. It's the same thing on the other end with Adisa Isaac. Yeah. And then you have Abdul Carter. But Abdul Carter might run a 4.3. He's not a good linebacker. I've watched him play, and I've just rewatched some of his stuff. Almost all of his plays came with him at the line of scrimmage, roughing the passer. And people compared him to Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is not a good linebacker either. He was a better linebacker in college than I think Abdul Carter is. But literally, you put him in the NFL, he was an okay linebacker. He's one of the greatest, might go down as one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. I think I would be much more scared of Penn State if they would commit to the bit and always have Abdul Carter on a line of scrimmage, because that dude is a freaking freak. But they're trying to make him play linebacker. I don't think he's a good linebacker. I don't. If you put him in a run-pass option, if you make him defend in coverage, he'll probably give up the pass. He runs a 4.3. He's going to hawk him down, but it might be 10, 15 yards down the field. He's not great against the run, but he's exceptional on the blitz. He's exceptional rushing the passer. So that's my thing. Those are the 3 best players. And then Kalen King is just he's a stud. He's great.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I mean, I don't know how
you're good on the back end for real.
Yeah. Well, we got to see. I'm going to assume they're good because they've always been good. But it's also like, do you ever just take a step back when you've lost Jair Brown, and you lost the guy that's, I can't remember his name right now, but the guy that's on the Bears, and you lost Joey Porter Jr., and you lost this guy and that guy. I think they're going to reload, but there is always the chance that maybe they don't. Especially not at corner, because Kalen King is a known name, but at safety.
Yeah, I think some of those guys might have got a bit of playing time too, because again, they had big leads against a good amount of teams, so they might have got some playing time in some games. So you never know; they might even got playing times in the big games.
Right.
So hopefully that's what happened, and that transfer is over.
Yeah, and that's just my thing. I just don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to know because they have some of the best athletes in the country, but I don't think they're always the best at their job.
That's fair.
And I think that, especially with Abdul Carter, I think they're doing him a disservice, trying to convince the world he's a linebacker instead of just putting him on the line of scrimmage. Just you keep comparing him to Micah Parsons. You see what Micah Parsons is doing in the league. He might be the next Micah Parsons. Put him on the line of scrimmage. Now, hey, it works for me if you don't. Because if you put him in linebacker, Ohio State might win that game. But if you put him on the line of scrimmage, I would be a lot more worried.
A lot.
James
scarier.
Franklin, turn up the podcast. Don't take my advice.
Don't take my. It might be him though. Sometimes it's not always the coach; it's the player too. Like I can be linebacker. I can do this. And it's sometimes the coach be like, no, So sometimes I don't know.
So that is
because with Micah said he doesn't always want to be attacking the quarterback, and we thought it was dumb. I thought it was dumb,
especially he was a serviceable linebacker in college, which I'm not sure Abdul Carter is, but he was not a good off-ball linebacker in the league. But he is literally one of the 5 best pass rushers in the league already.
Yeah.
If you don't take your ass to the line of scrimmage and stay there,
I'm so glad one of them is on my team.
Hey, you might got another one. How the hell did they let the Steelers draft Nick Herbig from Wisconsin? The Steelers always have one of them guys, bro. How the hell did they? I would, if I knew the Steelers was coming up and he was on the board, I'd have drafted him just cause. I'd have just put him on the shelf. That is sick, dog. That is sick.
We always replacing that other side, and
he's a Watt brother. He's not, but he is.
And you know what's crazy about that? We already had two guys that was fine on the other side of TJ, and they can play middle linebacker too. We have linebacker. We are linebacker city, bro.
They just got TJ Watt Jr., bro. Mm-hmm. He may not end up being that good.
He might end up being good. He might end up being good because he's always going to be on the opposite side of TJ.
But I'm saying that good as in he may not end up being TJ Watt, but he's not going to be a scrub.
But again, being next to TJ, he could end up having 18, 19 sacks because TJ's going to get double team. Again, what's the name? Bud Dupree had 15 when TJ had 19.
How the hell did they let the Steelers get Nick Herbig, bro? Oh God! So
and people keep saying we're going to be the worst in the AFC North. Okay. You keep forgetting we got one of the best defenses in the league, okay? And it just got better.
Yeah. So,
and I don't know. Got younger, man. Please.
I don't know, man. I have okay. And here's my last question about Penn State. Nick Singleton, and literally the questions only are between Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State because they're a class above everyone else.
Yeah.
But as we say every year on this show, you have to nitpick the top teams because they're so good. If you don't nitpick them, you have nothing to talk about. We can't come on here and be like, Penn State's great. End recording. Like, I don't want anyone to hear this and think that I think they're going to suck. You nitpick the top teams. When it comes to the Chiefs, you don't say they have Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be good. You start to question their second team right guard. You don't do that about nobody else.
I mean, you can still question their line. You can question their defense still. You can question that secondary.
But you do that because they're like, I'm a Colts fan. I'm like, hey, we have Anthony Richardson. Woo! But like, if we were good, if we still had Andrew Luck, it'd be like, hey, who's that 52nd man on the roster? Is he good? What's the special? Like, you do more when you're good. And so we're nitpicking them. We nitpicked USC. We're gonna nitpick Michigan. We're gonna nitpick Ohio State. Everybody gets it because you have to do that with the top teams. Otherwise, there's no point in talking about it.
And honestly, again, we can't say they suck because they didn't suck last year.
No, they're going to be
great. 2 games they lost, they were very winnable games.
The only question is, can they finally beat Ohio State or Michigan or both?
Both. Like, can you actually win that game? Or do you not do a stupid blitz in the fourth quarter where you weren't doing it at all, and you give up a touchdown that turns the tide?
A loser. And so is their DC because he was a loser at Miami.
Yeah, although he's a really good DC. I know you saw my tweet. As soon as they did that blitz, I tweeted no in all caps. I was like, no.
And here's the thing. They should beat everyone on their schedule besides Ohio State and Michigan, and I think they're going to split one.
Mm-hmm.
Do also have Illinois week 3.
Yep.
And they follow up Illinois with Iowa.
Yep. I don't think Iowa's going to be that scary. I don't think because Penn State can score on Iowa and Iowa
quarterback. He throws 3 interceptions. That's the thing. Penn State's a better team.
Iowa do it too.
But if 2 of them are pick sixes and you can't score,
fumble 6. You don't think what's the name's going to fumble 6 for Iowa? Who's their quarterback from? Because
Kate doesn't throw the ball away. I don't think he's good, but he doesn't throw interceptions.
I didn't say interceptions. He'll fumble. He could fumble. They could get those.
Listen, I'm not predicting Iowa.
And I'm sure even then, I think James Franklin is not a loser in games like that. Like, I say, he won't throw the ball that much. You could run on Iowa.
I wouldn't.
You could run on Iowa.
I agree, which is why I think they're going to win the game. I'm just saying they don't have the easiest schedule this year.
Oh no, they don't.
They have to play Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa, and Illinois.
Yeah, no, they have a tough schedule.
And while they'll beat Maryland, Maryland's also tougher.
Yeah, Maryland's gonna
they're going
be
into
a scary
this
game
with a freshman quarterback. That's a similar concern with Ohio State. You'll hear me say similar things. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing with why I'm like, how can you be so high? So my last thing before we get into the schedule, unless you have anything else.
No, we could get right into that.
Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen are good. Mm-hmm. But I think people are looking at them as if they're the best running back duo in the conference. And I think they're third.
Because you think, yeah, you already have said that you thought the other team. I forgot what other teams.
Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I have to. Explain Ohio State so people don't think I'm just being a homer. And this is what I'm going to try to pull up the stats really quickly if I can. But what I will say while I'm pulling up the stats is Travion Henderson didn't look great last year because he was injured. Mm-hmm. But I think a healthy Travion, his freshman year, was better than Nick Singleton. And I think that Mayan Williams in like his fourth year is better than Kaytron Allen. I'm not saying it's crazy better. Like, again, I feel like I always have to qualify this, and I just wish people would believe me. I don't think these players are scrubs, but we're talking about on the margins. So, Travion, his freshman year before he was injured, right? He ran for 1250, 6.5 yards per carry, 15 touchdowns. He had 27 receptions, 312 yards, 11.6 yards per reception, 4 touchdowns. So in total from scrimmage, he had 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns on 7.4 yards per play.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
That's great. Kaytron, Nick Singleton last year. This is not a scrub. Don't get me wrong. 1,000 yards, 1,061 to be exact. 6.8 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns, 11 receptions, 85 yards, 7.7 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. As a whole, he had 1,150 in yards, 6.9 yards per carry, 13 touchdowns. That's really good. But one player had 400 more yards, 6 more touchdowns, and and more yards per carry. What does that mean? It means nothing, technically, except if Nick Singleton's fully healthy and Travion's fully healthy. Is Travion better? I don't know. We'll see. But if Travion's better, so if you think Blake Corum is better, and you think Travion is better, and you think Braylon Allen is better, Penn State at best has the 4th best running back in the conference, and that doesn't include what you think about that doesn't include what you think about Donovan Edwards. That doesn't include if Roman Hemby comes on. Right. I just don't think the gap in talent that people are expecting is as high as people think. And that's where I think they could stumble and just be the same Penn State team that they've always been.
Yeah.
Because I'm not convinced they have the best quarterback in the conference. I'm not convinced they have the best running back in the conference. I'm not convinced they have the best, although people are saying they do, I'm not convinced they have the best defensive line. They have the best left tackle, but they don't have the best entire offensive line. That's Michigan.
Yeah.
They may have the best corner, but do they have the best overall secondary? If I had to bet my money, no. They have the best corner, but Iowa still has the best overall secondary. They don't have the best linebacker.
Yeah. I thought Iowa lost a good amount of that secondary.
They still have Cooper DeJean, and they have 5-star safety Xavier Nwangba, and I think there's another player that they had that had some experience. As an entire secondary, I would still give it to Iowa. I'd probably put Penn State too, though. Not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So, could they do it? Yeah, of course. They're going to be really good.
Yeah, but it's possible. It's very possible.
And I've been talking a lot, but what area are you 100% confident that they're better than Ohio State or Michigan at?
Better? I might say defensive line. I think it might be better than Michigan's. Maybe. I don't know. I would say just as good. I don't know if they're better. It's hard. But I think all three teams are
and they're pretty close.
Like that.
But let me ask you this question: is there a position group that on Michigan that you think is better than Ohio State and Penn State?
Oh, Michigan?
Yeah.
Offensive line, better than both. I think running backs are better than both too. So
okay. Ohio State, is there a position group you think is better than Michigan and Penn State?
Yeah. Linebacker, defensive linebackers, and receiver, of course, receiver room.
So you didn't have you picked two for Michigan, didn't have to think about it. Two for Ohio State, didn't have to think about it. You couldn't pick one for Penn State.
Yeah,
that's the point. Like I think they're going to be good. I want you to understand that, but I don't know if they have enough to not be what they've always been, which is 10-2, lose close games to Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, I would probably go with defensive line. It's probably better.
And I would argue it, but I'm not 100% so convinced that I would say that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State's defense. So the thing with Ohio State's defensive line, I think they have more talent from a stars perspective, and from like even when you look at like draft boards and things, Ohio State players are up higher, but Ohio State players haven't lived up to the hype, so it's hard to say.
That's why I would say defensive line, because they have not lived up to the hype. And I've seen teams run up and down the field, like legit run up and down.
Well, I mean, it was Michigan. It wasn't teams plural, but
okay, Michigan did whatever the hell Northwestern. Yeah, Michigan, Northwestern did for a half.
It wasn't the same. You keep saying that, but it was not nearly the same. Anyway, do you have anything else on Michigan?
That's all I got for Penn State right now.
Okay.
I hope they do it. It'd be cool to see.
I'm not gonna go that far. It's cool, but I'd love to see it beat Michigan.
That's cool. You know, it would be dope to see, bro.
Okay, schedule game. West Virginia, win. Delaware. Oh God, why would you even sign up for this game? Win.
Money.
Literally. Illinois, we both have a win, but that's gonna be a fun game.
Hard one. It was hard last year, I think.
That's good. Yeah, that's gonna be a very fun game. Iowa also have a win, and this is. I'm telling you now, Iowa is the game where we're gonna find out how good Drew Allard is, because even C.J. Stroud, first round pick C.J. Stroud, two-time Heisman finalist C.J. Stroud, struggled against Iowa. If I'm not saying he won't struggle, if he comes out, struggles a little bit, figures out in the second half, they win by like 2 touchdowns, 17 points. Yeah, he's legit. If he comes out, those 2-3, whether they win or lose, those 2-3 interceptions, something like that, it's like, hey, you might need to be a little bit more worried about him than you thought. That's week 4. That's going to be a really good barometer. And I'm not expecting him to be perfect. CJ Stroud, again, first round pick, did not look good. He cannot look the best because their defense is really good. But he has to do some things where you're like, okay, he figured it out. Like, he figured it out. He got it. So that's going to be a game I'm looking at. But we both still have a win. Northwestern shouldn't even be playing football right now. Win.
Nope.
They go on their bye at 5-0. They come off UMass. Why the hell would you schedule that? Easy. Then they play Ohio State. It's at Ohio State. This is another game, despite all the things that I've said. If this game was at Happy Valley, I think they might lose. Ohio State, that is. Yeah. But it's at home, and we've already gone through it. We'll talk about Ohio State on Monday. It's probably another close game because it always is. I think they lose. Yeah. You think they lose?
Yes.
Indiana win. Maryland win. Maryland played Ohio State and Michigan pretty close for a while and got blew out by Penn State. Yeah. So but Penn State, just like you talked about running the ball, Penn State just ran all over. I don't even think they threw the ball that game. So,
not really. And I think that was right after losing to OSU.
I would think it was right after losing to. Hold on, I can tell you. Kind of. And Indiana was in between it.
Okay.
It was 2 weeks after losing to
OSU. So they just beat the shit. They beat up on Indiana and Maryland for losing that game. They probably shouldn't have lost.
And Rutgers. they put up 45 on Indiana, 30 on Maryland, 55 on Rutgers. Like they were
mad.
To take out.
They were still mad, seething.
They had some anger to take out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Maryland, they're gonna win, but I'm just interested to see if Maryland has a little bit of like, hey hold on, quick.
I don't know who's playing quarterback for y'all right now, but there's sometimes I see people playing quarterback in the NFL. I'm like, there's no way. Like you don't look like you should be in the NFL at all. I think
that's Gardner Minshew. Well, you're ahead.
No, not anymore. But Gardner Minshew doesn't look like he should be in the NFL.
Who is it? Sam Howell? No, it's not him.
No, his name
the other Georgia. It's the other Georgia quarterback.
Lord,
it's the. I don't remember. Whatever. Maryland.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so Maryland is a win. So again, I keep telling you, I only think they're going to lose once. I don't know that I believe in it, but me and Dante need some picks to kind of separate, and I do think Penn State is going to be warranted in their excitement. I don't think they're just going to be same old Penn State that goes 10-2. I had to pick one between Ohio State and Michigan. And I just had to pick one. I would, as much of an Ohio State fan, I would not be surprised if this is reversed, where they beat Ohio State and lose to Michigan.
Yeah, there's a good chance that could happen.
But
I'll even say for you, like Jordan, he truly believes that there is a good chance this could be reversed.
Yeah,
and it'd be they win, they beat Ohio State, but lose to Michigan.
Yeah, I might cry myself to sleep, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm not joking about crying myself to sleep. I am. I haven't cried about more serious things, but I will be really in a bad mood. Don't look at my Twitter. Don't look at my Twitter. I'm going to say some crazy things.
That's crazy.
Ryan Day, get the fuck out of here.
I already know he gonna be going. I already know you gonna say he got.
I'm couch firing people. Like it's the thread that I'm gonna have if we lose this game, dog. It's gonna be legendary,
man.
But it's possible. So I have them beating Michigan. You have them losing. So basically, you kind of agree with me in that they could just be the same old Penn State.
And it's not even just like I don't even think they'll be same old in that regard. Like I still think these are great games.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
And especially because I can say that I feel like Ohio State's going to have a better quarterback because of track record. You could take that or leave it, but until we see it, despite how low I am on him, you have to assume Michigan has the better quarterback in that game.
Yeah.
So you're giving Michigan the better quarterback, wide receiver, and offensive line. That could be a loss. Could very easily be a loss.
Yeah.
And they both suck at receiver. It's crazy. Y'all need to do better. Like y'all need to come on, figure it out. Rutgers, Michigan State win. I have 11-1. You have 10-2. It's going to be a bloodbath at the top. This is the best division in college football. If this was a 12-team playoff, all three teams would make it.
All three teams are making it.
I think I am going to predict that 2 of the 4 make the playoff this year. Unless LSU is what people think, then it might be Georgia and LSU, and one of them somehow gets left out with 1 loss. But I think 2 of the 4 make the playoff this year. It's tough, man. I hope Penn State. I know it sounds like I shitted on Penn State a lot, but wait till you hear Michigan and Ohio State. It's going to sound like the same because you have to nitpick the top. I think they're going to be really good. I said all those negative things and only have them losing 1 game, so that should tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah, it should be a good season for them. It should be a good season team.
I don't know if you remember this because it's random. Do you remember what we set the over-under for Penn State making the playoff in the 12-team playoff? It was 7.5.
Yeah, something like that.
They should make the playoff 7 or 8 times in a 10-year period.
They should be fine.
They're going to be great. They're going to be great. All right, so I didn't really think of a pit stop, and we're already at an hour.
I think we kind of worked it in. Like
we're at an hour and 50 minutes. We're just not gonna have a pit stop.
San Jose State. Sorry to you on tomorrow.
Sorry to that man. Absolutely.
Sorry to that man. At
again,
8 p.m.
Absolutely. Again, this is a new feed. If you found it, thank you. Like, subscribe, promote. This is coming out on Friday, Monday.
Tell your friends, tell your boyfriends, tell that coworker that doesn't shut up about football.
Everybody, know, dad, uncle, aunt, grandma, somebody don't shut up about football.
You know somebody.
Tell them to listen, like and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at JordanW330.
You can follow me at Dante M10216.
Yep, and you can follow the podcast on Instagram at I-80 Football Show or on Facebook at also I-80 Football Show. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you on Monday.